Now, I did say that the ladies' top 16 was revealed. So were the men. You have Auburn, obviously the overall number one seed. Alabama, Duke, and that fourth number one team.
Duke, 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 Duke. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
Would you stop? I don't say it Duke so many times. Now that's the time you want to do it.
Well,
I don't talk about.
that's why I did it.
I don't say it. I don't talk about the Duke women team. No, not mention the Duke. But not this is the time you want to do it. You is something else.
Yes, you mentioned it. I was like, okay, well, I guess it must be a sign. Duke,
No, it's
Duke,
not.
Duke, Duke, Duke.
Jeez, what is wrong with you?
I'm sorry. So Duke, Alabama, Auburn, and Florida, they're the number one. They're the number one seeds thus far.
That's right. Florida's the number one seed. Put some respect on Florida's name.
All right, Cougars, inch them out, move them out. You supposed to be in the number one line. Come on now,
Oh,
you
now
know
you want
better
to get
than
serious? Oh, now you want to get serious?
that.
Oh, now you want to get serious? Now he wants to get serious.
I'm just saying the truth. I mean, Houston came in. They were supposed to, that people preseason wise, they were saying they were a Final Four team, and being a number two ranked team or number two seeded team in a bracket preview, that says that people don't think they are Final Four worthy.
So those of you who need a refresher, the preseason poll came like this: number one Kansas, number two Alabama, number three UConn, number four Houston.
Mhm.
You had Iowa State five, Gonzaga six, Duke seven, Baylor eight, UConn, UNC nine, and Arizona 10.
Mhm.
That was all the way back in November. Florida came in at 21.
And credit Florida, they're showing that they have backbone, and dare say this is probably the first time people have talked about them in this type of light since Joakim Noah was on the team, and that's what 18, 19 years ago.
Dang, out of all the people on the team, Joe Kim Noah was the first person that came to your head.
Well, the biggest person on the team. That's why it came to my head.
The biggest person on the team was Al Horford.
Well, I can't say Al Horford because I'd laugh because I think of why it's saying F Al Horford
Because
because he ended,
he
yeah
plays for Boston.
yeah played with Boston. So I tried not to go there. So I was like, okay, what let's see what got what.
Like, I'm like, all the people on that team, the first person came to your head was Joe Kim Noah.
So I was like, what could I? Which play could I do that I could think of that Wise did not curse out? That was on that team that wore floor. Oh, that's right, Joakim Noah. Okay,
Jeez. Oh my God, you
and,
was wise.
and besides, he crapped on Cleveland. That made it even better.
He ain't say Al Horford. Now I can forgive him for not saying the other one just because he probably won't remember them because they ain't play that long.
Hmm.
But I'm a Gary fan, so I can say Torian Green. I can say Lee Humphrey. I can say Christopher Richardson. I can say, Corey Brewer. I can say these names.
And I've heard of them, but yeah, you're right. They're not in my memory like it would be for you. Totally understand that.
But what did I tell y'all? Cole, what is my rule about coaching?
That you actually have a brain. You got to have a brain that actually to be on the
No,
sideline.
don't I say give them 3 years? Give them 3 years
Well, yeah.
and
Give them
see what
time.
you get.
Yeah,
Guess
give
what
them
year this
time.
is for Todd Golden? This is year
Number
three for
three.
Todd Golden.
Well, yeah. You got to give a coach time. I mean, I don't care what level. You got to give a coach time. You got to see if what what plans they have in terms of building a team to success. Any game. It doesn't matter if it's football, basketball, hockey, baseball. It doesn't matter. You got to give that program time to see if they can produce a winning culture, and that it requires patience, which unfortunately for many programs and many teams, they don't possess that. But kudos to your Gators. They did. And look where they are. They actually are one of the 4 best teams thus far right now in the men's college basketball game.
And those of you running Florida is ranked number 2 in the AP polls. It's been a long time since Florida fans can see a number 2 by the side of Florida.
Yeah. So yeah, congrats to your Gators, man. I mean, this is the first, literally, this is the first time in almost 20 years people have people have talked about the basketball program of Florida in such high regard.
And by the way, they beat 2 number 1 teams in the same season. You don't supposed to beat 2 number 1 teams in the same season.
Yeah.
And not only they beat them, they dominated both of them games.
So yeah, if I were you, since you're a big Gator fan, I'd be happy too.
But here's the main thing. You see Auburn, you see Alabama, you see Florida,
yes,
you see Tennessee, you see Texas A&M, you see Kentucky.
There's a lot of SEC teams. Yes,
the SEC. We're supposed to be a football conference.
Yeah, they're ruling. Yeah, they're ruling basketball.
But we are ruling basketball right now.
In the women's side too. But yeah, they're ruling basketball. Yeah.
You're supposed to be a football conference though.
Yeah. And got clowned for not winning a national championship this year because of that. Yes.
But the basketball programs said, hold up. We about business too. Now, outside of the SEC, Duke looks good. Houston.
I agree.
It's Houston's defense that keeps them.
Oh yeah, and that's why I like this team. If you could shut teams down on the defensive end, you stand a chance of winning every single game. Now, of course, when you have that as a feather in your cap, you can't go cold on the offensive end, which a defensive sound team normally can in different games go ice cold on the offensive end.
That's why I didn't win the Arizona was surprising. I'm like,
I was saying that, and that's why I think they are on the number 2 line instead of the number 1 line, is their offense has not caught up with their defensive effort.
Because Houston do not want to get in the shootout with nobody.
No, they want to grind you down. They want to grind you down and grind you out.
Because if Houston get in the shootout, good luck. And this coming from a Houston Cougar fan, by the way.
Yeah, they want to grind you down and grind you out. But in the grinding down and grinding you out, you got to have some offensive acumen to offset having dogs and having a dog mentality on the defensive end.
Like I said, y'all put some respect on Rick Pitino's name. Look what St. John's is at. Who had St. John's as a top 4 seed?
Nobody.
At any point of the season.
Nobody.
Y'all put some respect on Rick Pitino's name.
Nobody.
That man said, what? I'll take a team that's usually just on the outside looking in most of the time, and I'm going to turn them around. Look what he did. St. John's will be in the tournament. St. John's will be in the tournament.
Oh, they are. The only thing that will keep them out is if they have a losing streak on the way out from here on to the end of the regular season, and they get bounced on the first round in the Big East Conference.
And how me and you both know about Rick Pitino, that doesn't happen to Rick Pitino.
That won't happen. So yeah, they're as good as in the tournament.
But the SEC is still up for grabs. Auburn might be number 1, but good Lord have mercy, that conference is ridiculous.
I mean, it took a great effort in Tuscaloosa to beat Alabama, who's the number 2 team, and to me, I don't consider that a bad loss for the Tide.
No,
I mean it's a loss, but I don't consider it a bad one. They showed up. It's just unfortunate that Auburn they just brought it offensively a little more, and that happens.
Full disclosure, I'm gonna let y'all know. If y'all ask me who is my favorite basketball announcer, number 1 would be Dickie V.
Oh, congrats on coming back, Dickie V.
But second on that list, Jimmy Dykes. I would listen to Jimmy. That's what Jay Billis. Being completely honest, I don't know how Cole feel about that, but I'll listen to Jimmy. That's what I listen to Jay Billis.
I like Jay Billis. What's wrong?
I
What's
like
wrong
Jay
with
Billis too,
you? Okay.
but you listen to Jimmy Dice call a game, man.
I can understand that.
Jimmy Dice
I
was
don't hate.
calling.
I don't hate that. So yeah, that's cool. And I like Jimmy Dykes too.
I think Jimmy he was calling. I think it was Florida and Tennessee game or one of the Florida games, and he was saying in this conference, he was talking about the conference in general
Hmm.
because how deep this conference is. Not deep as far as in how many teams, deep as the talent that the SEC is putting on display in college basketball this season.
Yeah,
He said, don't make one loss into four losses.
that's a
Saying
very
don't
sound.
lose one game and then let that game trickle down to the other games.
That's very sound. That's very sound advice because it could, like, I'd take for instance Alabama. It could you lose by 10 at home to your biggest arch rival, and this was the game that you probably had written in red ink, and you underscored it and underlined it because that same rival ended up being the number one ranked team in the country to boot. And I can see how that could just send you on a tailspin, and then and then you look at yourself 2 weeks later, you went from number 2 to number 15.
And he said that and Florida lost to Kentucky. You got to pick yourself back up because 2 days later, number one Tennessee was coming into Gainesville. You saw what happened in that game.
Yeah,
Just
they got
destruction.
destroyed by 30. Wow.
Tennessee got destroyed. They had to go back home because they had. I don't know if it was it Kentucky. No, it wasn't Kentucky. It was somebody else coming in. They picked themselves up. They got a W. Can you pick yourself up after you lose?
And in the SEC, you have to pick yourself up because if not, you'll be left in the dust.
Auburn lost at home to Florida. They go to Tuscaloosa and get a dub.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say if you don't pick yourself up, you'll be left in the dust in the SEC. Left in the dust.
Remember we talked about Kansas, right?
Mm-hmm.
They already lost 8 games. If I was to go to the SEC right now and see how many teams have lost 8 games in the entire conference,
Talk about embarrassment of riches.
it is stupid of what this conference is.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the SEC? Where here? All right, let's see. So you have Texas, Arkansas, Georgia, Oklahoma, LSU, and South Carolina. 6 teams with more than 8 losses in the Southeast Conference. That means that's 10 teams with 8 losses and less.
10.
10.
10. With 8 or less losses. 10. Mm-mm-mm.
This is stupid. And one of those teams is Vanderbilt.
Mm.
They knocked off Tennessee. They knocked off Kentucky. Tennessee got some quality wins. I might want to pass this to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt got some quality wins. Because every time I'm like, darn, they already know. Good gracious, what is going on in Nashville? Maybe you have an answer for me because I'm like, what is going on in Nashville right now? They knocking up teams left and right. Where did this come from?
Well, I guess they also feel as though they got to step up. They're seeing all these teams. They're seeing all this good play, and now you have the new schoolers in Oklahoma and Texas coming in, and Texas is making themselves feeling pretty good. Although in basketball, in the men's side of basketball ledger, not so much.
But yeah,
I think Banfield is like, I think we need to pick up the pace.
but yeah,